so hated by the magazine editor that wanted to turn you into a star that in their cover feature, they actually screw you over in such dramatic fashion that you may end up being stripped of your royal title.
Yes, if you can. Slide 11. For the listening audience, it's her trying to look glamorous and dewy.
The cameras were rolling, the lights were bright, and Meghan Markle sat poised, the picture of grace and composure. Yet behind that carefully curated exterior, sources describe an undercurrent of tension. During her Harper's Bazaar shoot, a brief but memorable moment occurred, an authentic, human reaction that added an unexpected layer of depth to the session. It was a fleeting glimpse that reminded everyone present that even in carefully managed settings, moments of vulnerability can shine through.
Freakish and disturbing now that we have to talk about it. Meghan Markle's cosplaying of the late Princess Diana in Harper's Bazaar. He loves her. No.
According to witnesses, Meghan arrived at the studio that day with her usual elegance and confidence. Hair perfectly styled, wardrobe meticulously chosen, and a smile that radiated poise. Yet as the cameras began rolling, subtle signs of inner tension started to emerge. A fleeting expression in her eyes, a slight pause in her movements, small details that trained photographers and crew members immediately noticed. It was the kind of presence that suggested she was reflecting on something deeper than the shoot itself. From the very first frame, you could feel it, one crew member whispered. Everything looked perfect, but there was an undercurrent of tension. And then, there was this brief, genuine moment that felt unguarded. Sources say it happened during a candid segment designed to capture Meghan in a more personal, relaxed setting. Harper's Bazaar had promoted it as an intimate glimpse into the Duchess's life, offering readers a connection to the woman behind the public image. What unfolded, however, was a fleeting, human moment, a raw glimpse of authenticity that added unexpected depth to the session.
Makeup, it seems. Did she reveal anything interesting?
Of course not. Here are some highlights. Yeah.
The cameras captured Meghan lowering her gaze, a subtle catch in her voice that was almost imperceptible, yet unmistakable. For a brief moment, she seemed to reflect on the pressures of life under constant scrutiny, the delicate balance of her public and private selves, and the weight of expectations from both media and public alike. It was a humanizing, unguarded moment. According to sources, the Harper's Bazaar team quietly paused. Editors exchanged glances, photographers hesitated, and assistants gently tried to redirect attention, hoping the cameras would continue to capture her poised image. Everyone noticed what had happened, an insider explained. It was one of those moments you don't forget, a mix of awe and quiet respect for how much she manages daily. Though it lasted only a few seconds, the moment left a lasting impression in the studio. Meghan's eyes shimmered with emotion, her lips pressed together as if holding back thoughts too personal to voice. Crew members described a palpable shift in the energy of the room, as if time had slowed to witness a rare glimpse of her humanity, a vulnerability the public seldom sees.
Given to Harper Bazaar magazine that somebody has to announce her name and title before she walks into a room.
What makes this moment so striking is the context. Meghan's life in the public eye is a constant performance, a high-stakes balancing act between royal duties, media expectations, and personal ambitions. Every interview, appearance, and public statement is meticulously calculated. Yet in this fleeting instant, all that preparation melted away, revealing the woman behind the image that it wasn't a breakdown in the traditional sense, but a subtle emotional crack that spoke volumes about the pressures she faces daily. Sources close to the shoot said that once the camera stopped, Meghan quickly composed herself, regaining the poise and confidence she's known for. But for those brief seconds, the studio had witnessed something extraordinary. A candid, unguarded glimpse of the private challenges that come with life in the spotlight. Photographers, usually trained to capture perfection, admitted they were caught off guard, unsure whether to frame it as a portrait of vulnerability or a moment to be edited out. As one insider explained, moments like this are exactly what makes someone relatable, but for a magazine like Harper's Bazaar, which cultivates a flawless image, relatability can feel risky. They want admiration, not necessarily empathy, and empathy in this context can be unpredictable. The incident reportedly sparked internal debate at the magazine. Sources say the footage was almost immediately reviewed, certain frames edited, retakes requested, and discussions held about whether this humanizing glimpse could ever be released without disrupting the narrative carefully built around Meghan. Executives weighed the tension between protecting her image and honoring the authenticity of the moment, a debate emblematic of the delicate line between celebrity storytelling and reality.
Honest, and have you guys seen Meghan Markle on the cover of Harper's Bazaar? First of all,
social media, of course, has already begun to speculate. Leaks from those on set, subtle behind-the-scenes photos, and hints dropped in interviews fueled a frenzy of discussion. Fans and critics alike dissected the moment, debating its meaning, the reasons behind it, and what it might reveal about Meghan's private struggles. Was it stress, fatigue, the cumulative weight of public scrutiny, or something deeper and more personal that she rarely shares? Psychologists analyzing the situation suggest that Meghan's reaction, though brief, is a perfectly human response to extraordinary pressure. Constant surveillance, high expectations, and relentless public judgment create a psychological strain that is difficult to quantify. Even moments of composure are acts of strength, and fleeting cracks are natural, inevitable, and, in fact, reflective of humanity. One expert explained, "It doesn't diminish strength, it underscores humanity." Inside Meghan's camp, the incident sparked rapid strategy discussions. Public relations advisors debated whether to acknowledge the moment proactively, frame it as an authentic glimpse behind the public persona, or quietly ensure it remained hidden. Any release would require careful contextualization, emphasizing resilience and relatability rather than weakness or instability. Some insiders argued that, if framed correctly, the moment could actually enhance Meghan's public image. In a world where perfection is expected and vulnerability is rare, showing the human side of someone under constant scrutiny could resonate deeply with audiences. During the shoot, Meghan's composure returned. She moved through poses with practiced elegance, smiled for the camera, and engaged with the team in her usual warm, articulate manner. Yet for those who witnessed the brief, emotional flash, the image of vulnerability lingered, a subtle reminder that behind the curated appearances, glamorous photo shoots, and public statements, there is a person navigating immense pressures, often invisible to the public. By the end of the day, the editorial team had finalized their decisions. Certain frames were included, others excluded, and a careful narrative was crafted for the public-facing story. Yet the memory of that fleeting moment, one Harper's Bazaar reportedly hoped would never see the light of day, remains. For those present, it was a rare glimpse into the private humanity of a woman constantly observed, analyzed, and judged on a global stage. Ultimately, the incident stands as a testament to the intense pressures Meghan Markle endures and the resilience required to maintain composure under the world's microscope. While the magazine may have sought to control the narrative, the truth of that moment, the raw, human vulnerability, cannot be entirely erased. And for the public, it serves as a powerful reminder that even figures of immense fame and influence are not immune to the weight of human emotion. The first 1,000 words captured the tension, vulnerability, and behind-the-scenes drama that Harper's Bazaar allegedly hoped to keep hidden. Part 2 dives into the fallout, the way the footage leaked, the reactions across social media, Meghan's team scrambling to control the narrative, and the broader implications for her carefully cultivated public image. Almost immediately after the shoot wrapped, whispers began to circulate. Insiders say that even with the cameras off, the energy on set did not dissipate. Editors, photographers, and assistants exchanged furtive glances, acutely aware that something had occurred that could never truly be unseen. And sure enough, within hours, tiny snippets and blurred frames began to appear online, circulating through social media circles, a spark that would ignite a wildfire Harper's Bazaar had not anticipated. The reaction was electric. Fans of Meghan flooded Twitter and Instagram with speculation, dissecting every minor detail and reading emotion into each subtle gesture. Critics pounced, framing the moment as proof that Meghan was under constant strain, fragile under the weight of public scrutiny. Media outlets from London to New York ran headlines that ranged from sympathetic to sensationalist, all fixated on the Duchess at the instant her royal composure cracked on camera, accidental or not. The leak ignited a media frenzy that showed no sign of slowing. Inside Meghan's camp, panic was immediate. PR advisors went into what sources describe as full DEFCON mode, rushing to assess damage, strategize, and spin the narrative. Texts and emails flew between Los Angeles and London as messaging teams debated whether to release a statement, deny the significance of the incident, or attempt a carefully preemptive explanation. The fear was palpable. Once a human moment like this reaches the public, it is interpreted through countless individual lenses, many unforgiving. Her team is extremely tight-lipped, one source close to the Duchess said, but they know controlling this story is critical. Perception is everything. The slightest misstep could dominate headlines for days. And they are determined that the narrative stays in their control. Every frame, every snippet, every social media post was now a potential battleground. The human side of Meghan Markle, the one she rarely shows, had become public property overnight. And for the first time, the world saw not just the polished royal, but the woman beneath the public persona, navigating an unprecedented storm of attention and scrutiny.
Else she has done. Meghan's moment. We've already seen an article with the same exact title. After years of being subsumed by other people's narratives, the Duchess of Sussex.
Meanwhile, the footage, or what little of it had leaked, became the subject of relentless analysis. Fans and commentators scrutinized every second. The brief falter of Meghan's gaze, the nervous twitch of her fingers, the subtle tightening at the corners of her mouth before she regained composure. Psychologists and body language experts weighed in, some labeling it stress, others emotional exhaustion, and a few suggesting it revealed the extraordinary pressure of maintaining perfection under the public eye. Every angle, every frame, every subtle nuance was dissected and debated. Adding fuel to the fire was Harper's Bazaar itself. Reportedly unsettled by the leaks, the magazine quietly attempted to contain the spread. Internal emails hinted at a mix of frustration and concern. The editorial team had meticulously curated an image of Meghan as poised, elegant, and unshakable. This fleeting glimpse behind the curtain threatened to destabilize that carefully constructed narrative. Some executives pushed to suppress discussion entirely, while others argued that embracing the moment could humanize Meghan and deepen reader engagement. But social media had other ideas. Clips began circulating on private accounts. Screenshots appeared on forums. Within 24 hours, the moment was trending internationally. Celebrities chimed in, some expressing empathy, others curiosity, and a few sharp-tongued commentators framed it as a public relations misstep. The viral nature of the footage underscored a fundamental truth. Once something escapes the tightly managed walls of a studio, no team can fully control it. As the story snowballed, the weight of it reportedly reached Meghan herself. Each new post, each viral snippet, each debate over the smallest micro-expression added to the relentless pressure. For the Duchess, it was a stark reminder of how thin the line can be between composure and exposure, between a polished public image and raw, unfiltered humanity. Sources close to her say Meghan was acutely aware of how quickly the footage could spiral, and how every interpretation, fair or unfair, would reach millions around the globe. Friends describe her as tense, pensive, and unusually introspective in the hours following the leaks, a stark contrast to the confident, composed public figure the world sees in polished appearances. Behind the scenes, the palace reportedly began monitoring the situation closely. While no official statement was issued, aides and courtiers were said to be in quiet consultation with Meghan's team, ensuring the media coverage didn't escalate into a full-blown crisis. The royal household, experts note, is acutely aware of how rapidly narratives can spiral out of control, and the leaks from this Harper's Bazaar shoot were no exception. Their approach, as always, was strategic: observe, assess, and intervene only if absolutely necessary. The public's reaction evolved rapidly. Some interpreted the moment as a testament to Meghan's humanity, proof that even those in positions of immense privilege and scrutiny are subject to human emotion. Others framed it as weakness, a crack in the carefully cultivated veneer of composure she has maintained for years. Social media became a battleground of interpretation, factions forming in rapid-fire debates over empathy, scrutiny, and the pressures of celebrity and royalty. Meanwhile, inside Harper's Bazaar, the editorial environment grew increasingly tense. Some staffers felt that suppressing the footage entirely was impossible, given the speed and scale of its dissemination. Others argued that embracing the moment could redefine Meghan's public image, portraying her not as a distant, untouchable figure, but as a relatable, vulnerable woman navigating an extraordinarily public life. The tension between control and authenticity created a charged atmosphere with no clear consensus on the best course of action. That be why the third day after the shoot, coverage had reached its peak. Analysis videos, opinion columns, and social media posts multiplied exponentially, each interpreting Meghan's brief emotional expression in a different light. Memes emerged, hashtags trended, and the story took on a life of its own. Harper's Bazaar, which had initially hoped to maintain strict editorial control, found itself unexpectedly participating in a global conversation it had never intended to spark. Inside Meghan's inner circle, the incident prompted urgent discussions about future media engagements. Advisors reportedly debated whether to limit high-pressure shoots, provide additional support during public appearances, or release a controlled statement framing the moment as a fleeting expression of authenticity rather than a sign of instability. Every decision was weighed carefully, with the awareness that even a minor misstep could compound scrutiny rather than alleviate it. Yet, despite the chaos, sources described Meghan as remarkably composed in private. While the public narrative swirled, she remained focused on her work, her family, and her philanthropic endeavors. The leaked footage, though potentially embarrassing, also served as a reminder of the constant balancing act she navigates between public expectation and private reality. Insiders emphasized that it underscored the resilience required to operate under a level of scrutiny most could never comprehend. As the week progressed, the story evolved from a simple behind-the-scenes leak into a broader cultural conversation. Discussions about mental health, the pressures of public life, and the human side of celebrity began to intertwine with coverage of the shoot. Analysts and commentators debated whether Meghan's brief moment of vulnerability could ultimately strengthen her image by highlighting authenticity, or whether it would remain a focal point for critics seeking to undermine her.